Hello, guys. Today, I've got the pleasure to guest Daniel Voice, who is a Digital to Go representative and also Location Core leader. Hello, Daniel. Can you say something about yourself?
Hi, Tony. My name's Dan Voice. I'm the CTO of Digital to Go. We're looking at creating a project called Location Core, which is planning on democratizing user data.
So, guys, the first question is, Daniel, your product is called Location Core by Digital to Go. What's the Digital to Go, and how long are you operating? How many employees you have, and how many customers you have? Is it rather a business to business or business to customer company?
Sure. Digital to Go is the company behind Location Core. We're an existing business. We've been in business since 2014. And what we do, we're an engagement and insights platform that we provide location-aware contextual data for our customers. All of our customers are business customers. Generally, they want to kind of go after people who they know will be interested in essentially buying their product, or just marketing to people they're aware of. Like I said, we've been operating since 2014. We've got 15 people, maybe some more, working for the company. Our customer list includes Walmart, Target, Incipio, Best Buy in the US. We've done a lot of deployments for smaller organizations as well, but recently we've been moving into Latin America. We've got names such as Alamo Rent-A-Car on there. Our big client at the moment is RCI, who are a division of Wyndham Resorts, SSL and Inns de Mexico. We're looking to expand into Australia in 2018, which is where I'm based. All of our work is done B2B. It's the amount of data we're talking about and the cost for it is generally, unless consumers have a lot of money, it doesn't really seem to work for that kind of thing. But moving forward, we want to allow app publishers and consumers to kind of control their own data and be rewarded for the data they provide to us. Considering most of us are giving this away for free to Facebook, Foursquare, Google, etc., we think there'll be a lot of support for this.
Okay. Why have you chosen blockchain, and what opportunity it gives you? Do you see any problems to solve? Why blockchain?
So, like I said earlier, a lot of people are already giving this data away to people like Facebook and Google, and it's kind of an information black hole. They say that if the product's free, then you're the product. And so what we're basically saying to people is, well, if you want to get around that, then you can actually become the product for it. So what we want to essentially do is allow people to provide their data to us as well. I mean, you can't stop providing it to Facebook, Google, and Foursquare, because the majority of the functionality they provide is basically based on the fact that you're giving them this data. That's what's allowed Facebook to become the most granular advertising platform available. So what we want to do with the blockchain is we want to, like I said, democratize this and allow people to provide the information to us in a trustless manner, that they don't need to worry that we're going to fudge them on what data they provided to us, and allow them to get rewarded in return.
Okay, so if I am just a normal guy, user of your platform, I can just subscribe to your application and earn some tokens for giving out
Exactly.
my data. That's great. I hate privacy. Just joking, just joking. But it's better than Facebook, because you don't know what they are doing with the data. And in your situation, I'm just giving it out for some kind of money compensation in tokens. So that's really cool, I think. And
I think, I think Facebook as well is. I think people now understand that anything they put on Facebook is basically being used to market them. I mean, I'm sure we've all searched for something on one website and seen our Facebook feed fill up with, exactly the same kind of stuff. And I think really people would rather have marketing given to them that's relevant to them, rather than just your average Viagra normal things that you get, or whatever you get if you opt out of all of that stuff. So, I think there's a need from a both business and a consumer point of view for this.
okay, so why using NAM, and how can you come into this idea of using NAM instead of classical, let's say, Ethereum or Solidity? Because I know that NAM has many uptakes over Ethereum, but I just want your point on it. Why your company chooses NAM?
So I've always been fascinated by Ethereum. I think, it's Bitcoin was obviously the first cryptocurrency that was actually acting as currency. Ethereum was the first platform, I would say. Well, the first like major platform that came about. I totally buy into the whole distributed app thing. I think if you can just remove that whole, centralization of a specific app, then it makes it kind of more accessible to everyone. You can trust that it's not going to be controlled by one person as much as you can with DNS and things like that. So, what I didn't like about Ethereum was you essentially have to learn a completely new language for it. And as any of us programmers know, I'm a programmer. It doesn't take much to open up a massive security hole into your application. And if you're doing that with a language that's immature and one that hasn't really been as tested as something like C++, as PHP, as all of these kind of other standard web development languages that's been used, you're kind of opening yourself up to a load of trouble. So NEM's API for us allows us to develop in the languages we're comfortable with. We've built an entire platform on the languages and the frameworks that we currently use. We're really happy with how they work. It means that I'm not having to cross-skill and learn in different languages to get this project developed. So NEM's just the ideal choice for it.
Yeah, that's a great answer, because it's like I am trying to tell people why NEM is good, and it's good because you can easily blockchainize your product. So you don't need to learn a new language. You don't need to learn this let's say this blockchain type of scripting or something like that. With NEM, you are just using the blockchain with your own application. So I was waiting for your product to appear, because I'm telling people that it's very cool use case just for the existing companies, and I was just waiting for your product to like emerge, and because now
we're really excited as well.
Because now I can say that this location core is using NEM, and they have their own programming language they're working on. You are working on PHP or something like that, yeah. And they are just adopting NEM into their ecosystem. So that's very cool. And I've got a question about community fund proposal. So what's your request, and what part of the project you requested is already made? And I am asking this question as recently there was a project that didn't even have a clear white paper or roadmap or some website or demo. So I want you to tell me, what do you have? Do you have some specific plans or mock-up or something like that?
So, like I said, our platform is already existing, and the platform that we've currently got is for app publishers, for people that are integrated. So we've got our current SDK that we use, and that SDK is used for delivering adverts to applications, I guess, at a location-aware time. Like, you walk into Target, they say, "Welcome to Target. Here's 20% off token if you go and buy kids' toys," or something like that. So that's where our business currently is. A lot of the data that we're getting in at the moment, we probably ingest around 1 billion records a month at the moment. All of that then goes through an ETL system. It then gets put into our data warehouse, and then that's where we build the personas and the segments for our customers. So all of that side of the business is built. We've got a CMS, which is like the dashboard for the customers to go in. They can see how their campaigns are performing. They can check on their IoT deployments, because we do a lot of beacons and geofencing as well. That's pretty much the main bread and butter of our business. And they can kind of view statistics about what personas are being gathered from this SDK that's currently out there. So the community fund proposal is about building 2 new SDKs, one for Android, one for iOS. And the idea is that rather than actually having adverts delivered to it, what we're going to do is we're going to start data mining this location data that's coming from the location core users to start off with. But slightly deeper than that is this location core app that we're doing is kind of the first proof of concept of these SDKs. So the SDKs are really the kind of main part of the show here. The app will be, look to the NEM communities, this is how we're going to do it. But the idea is that this is what we'll then use to build our partnerships with, ideally something like us, we'd like to get into something like Expedia, let's say something like that. I know that's like a high-flung dream and stuff, but if we can get into something like that, and then Expedia then can use our point system as a reward for their customers, we will gain the information from it. Because if you think about how you use the Expedia app, I mean, when I travel, I install the Expedia app. If I've booked on Expedia, it gives me my updates, and then I tend to uninstall it. So a lot of these people need ways to increase their app retention. So the partnerships that we're actually going to do will be after the NEM communities put the app and the SDK through its paces. They're earning money for sharing their location data as well, and they can continue to do that all the way through. But actually, the bigger picture is taking these SDKs and getting them into other applications as part of the partnerships, which will then increase the amount of tokens and the mosaics that are being, transacted, and then that just basically increases the throughput for NEM altogether. So we've actually got one of our customers already, RCI, who they're going to be interested in having having this location core SDK put into their app, because having the ability to increase the app retention for their customers when they come to resorts, because we say install the app, and then you get notifications when the bar's open, when what's on at the restaurant tonight, if you want to make bookings through it. But often with things like this and other hotel apps is once they leave, they tend to uninstall that app. But what we actually want to do is they want insights about their customers, about what they're going to, so they can provide this marketing. So this is how we plan to help increase app retention.
Yeah, that's very cool idea and good business plan, I think. And can you tell me more about your milestones? Because in the community fund proposal, you have those milestones, and could you summarize them in few sentences? What are those milestones, and what do you want to achieve on every milestone?
Sure. So we've got 10 milestones all in all. It's pretty granular because we want to make sure that each individual set of them works towards an end goal, and as they're developed and as they're built, it's it's pushing things forward. We also want to make sure that people don't see this as one big milestone, that because I know there's a lot of worries about people cutting and running with this community fund in there, and our business reputation's on the line, so we want to make sure that people are happy with this, because it looks bad on an existing business for us if people are worried about that. So the first 5 milestones are based around building the iOS and the Android SDKs. The iOS and the Android apps then that are going to house this SDK, and obviously the accompanying websites, support pages, PR releases, everything that's needed to support the release of an app. So on top of that as well, what we're looking to do is we're looking to document all of our development on Steemit, Medium, LinkedIn. What we want to do is we want to show people where we're at and discuss our failures, because we don't know everything. We know we're going to have struggles. We know that things are going to go wrong. It's a development project at the end of the day. But what we want to do is increase the conversation around using NEM, and if there are problems that we don't know how to do something, then get advice from the NEM community, get advice from the people that are also developing it as well, and just kind of create an ecosystem around our product to show that we're open and transparent about what we're doing. Hopefully learn something in the process of it as well. So that's the first 5 milestones. That's probably around the 4 months, we think, if we can get what we need to do done. The next and last 5 milestones are basically if we achieve a certain numbers of users using this app. So we're saying to the NEM community, look, in order for this to be counted as a success, we want 2,500 for the first 2 milestones of these 5. Then we want 5,000 users for the last part of it. And it's the last milestones in that 5 that are, in my opinion, the biggest and the most important part of this project. This is where we build a metered API. So, excuse me, currently the customers come to us, they request segments for us, and we set up ETL processes in the back of it. It then pushes it to an S3 bucket, and they pay us X amount per month. What we actually want to do now is provide an API that they can directly query our data, and this data will be aggregated from the location core app, from our current data sources and our data partners, from our own deployments as well. So all of this data enriches all the other data as well. So it all comes together in this really nice chunk of persona data that allows us then to say to people, well, if we can provide a metered API, what we will do is all of the transactions will be in our mosaic. It will all go through the NEM blockchain, and it allows us then to take out a lot of the manual processing that we're currently having to do manually and automate it through NEM.
Yeah, yeah, that's very cool, and I think the most cool thing about this project is how open you are, because as you said, it's you want to learn on your mistakes, because being honest, we are in the beginning of the blockchainizing, let's say, era of our technology, and every project is like uh, it's the first time we are doing it. So it's very cool that you are so open that you want to like be as open and ask questions, and you may have some problems, and you may be some small fails, but it's very good attitude, being honest. And I'm very very happy to make interview with you, because it's like every other project that I'm speaking with, it's like we know everything. It's
Any
just
developer that says they know everything doesn't know what they're talking about, or it's
Yeah,
management that, or it's management
exactly.
saying that we can do things because they have awesome developers underneath it who know they know how to fail. But I think we're really lucky in Melbourne. We've got the blockchain center like a kilometer away from where I live. The NEM team are based out of there. We've got we're discussing partnerships and just consulting ability with HE3 Labs with Clayton, and we've got Asta here, which are in the blockchain center as well, which work with I think they do things with blockchain capital and stuff like that as well.
Yeah, it's one of the biggest. Yeah, it's one of the biggest companies working on
Exactly.
that. So
We've got a huge support network here in Melbourne. We've got the NEM community as well. So I'm confident we can get it done. I mean, it's never an easy road when you develop anything. Like, you think that you have a nice set of ideas about which way you're going to go, and then some spanner gets thrown in the works that one part of it can never work. And, you've got to work around that. That's what us developers do. So.
Okay, so do you have any demo or mock-up or something like that, so the users and people from them that will vote can see and like get more ideas about how it can look?
Sure. Look, the app is really simple. It's pretty much one screen, well, two screens. You put some information in about yourself, and then you choose what information you want to share with us, and you see at the rate at which you're earning tokens. So we've got a mock-up of the app. I mean, obviously, like I said earlier, the app is a small part of this. We've got to build the SDKs in order for this stuff to work. So in order to build the SDKs, we've got to have like the infrastructure behind that as well, which is to do with, we've essentially got to create IoT streaming points, the streaming inputs. What are they called? Streaming receivers for it. So we're going to set up something like Kafka, or we're going to use AWS IoT for it, because this thing needs to handle, well, hopefully eventually, billions of data points every minute. So we need the infrastructure behind it to do it. So, but the demo that we've got, we'll release it when we do the community proposal. Like I said, it's really simple, but people can understand an idea of how the app is actually going to work, and then hopefully from that they can, kind of extrapolate how, when we get these partnerships, how that will actually fit into it. But at the end of the day, how the other app companies decide to implement our SDK that's completely up to them. But, the idea is that whatever they do, the points will be in our mosaic. Obviously, our main platform is a B2B platform as well. So if there is anyone in the NEM community that wants to approach us from a business perspective to get access to some of the data insights we have, they can contact me directly from the NEM forum, and I'm happy to walk them through it as a business demo. We can arrange to have an account set up for them to kind of have a look around to see where we're currently at with that platform. But like I said, it's a business to business kind of thing rather than a consumer. The Location Core is our consumer product. The business to business side of it is, we're happy to do it from a business perspective if they want to have a look.
Yeah, that's very cool. So I'm all into that. So how community members like me or other community members, how can they help you? Of course, they can give you feedback and vote in favor of this solution, but yeah, do you have any like more requests for the community?
Look, voting for it would obviously be great. If we can get this thing off the ground, then I don't see any reason why we can't build it. There's nothing that I'm over the top worried about. I mean, like I said, it's not going to be an easy journey to get it, but we've built several SDKs before. We've got, I'm confident I can find decent enough app developers who understand the blockchain here in Melbourne to develop. So what we want is, when the app gets released, if the voting goes through, we just need to get as many people on it and testing as possible. Like, obviously you guys will earn money from that off the back of it. So if we can get more people to actually test the scalability of it, then we can iron out any bugs that happen earlier on and get the product to market a lot sooner. And, obviously constructive criticism on the project. We want to hear real world opinions of it. We want to see how you think it'll work. Like you said, we plan to be totally honest and transparent about what we're doing. So, if we don't know something, we'll say we don't know it. We won't try and bullshit our way out of it. But we know that we've got enough partners around us who, if we don't know something, we can go to and say, well, actually, look, we're not sure how to do this part of it. What do you recommend? Or what do you think will be the best way of, kind of going about it? So we feel we're in a good situation. We feel the partnerships that we've forged and the people that we've got on board will be fantastic in helping us just launch this product. And with the community as well, if those guys can just help us and tell us what they're happy with, what they're not happy with, then things will go really well. I hope.
Yeah, I believe NEM community is very open and they are like very very honest people. So it's very cool because NEM community will always give you the right answers without bullshitting you, and that's very cool. And yeah, as I said earlier, I'm totally on board this project. Location Core, I think it will be one of my best project that I will follow on my channel. So that's very cool. And do you have anything that you would like to say to the community?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I've been a long time lurker on the forums. I'm one of those people that, unless I'm actively developing on something, I tend not to get involved in the conversations. But I do want to say that since I've actually got on there, I just want to thank everyone for being so welcoming. Nelson, Jason, and Ricardo at NEM, obviously they're at the Blockchain Center here in Melbourne, pretty regularly, and like the advice about, just the advice about how to actually get this thing launched has been absolutely invaluable. And like the community members like Tony, yourself, like Marco as well, they've really helped us find our feet with integrating into the community as well. So I just really hope that everyone can actually see what we're trying to accomplish on this, and I hope they can see the value in what we're trying to do.
And thank you, that's very cool. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to make an interview with you and to bring the attention to your product to our community members. Thanks one more time. I will try to be updated with all the news and try to be on top of everything on my channel. And one more time, thanks, Dan. Do you have something else to say, or
no? Look, just thank you, Tony. Thank you. It's been good to actually vocalize all of this stuff. There's been so much of it on paper so far. It's just nice to be able to actually speak it out to someone. So
okay, so that's cool. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, guys. See you later.
Thanks, Tony.